and who's selling his business, and he's probably going to sell it for like low 8 figures.
Okay.
He wants to take all of that money, all of it, and put it in Bitcoin. He already owns a lot of Bitcoin. He's made a lot of money in Bitcoin. And I told him, I'm like, realistically, I feel like, I mean, I don't have this amount of money, but I feel like life doesn't change that much after like 4 to 5 to 6 million. And like, you should probably focus on capital preservation. If you're going to take a massive risk, do it with money over $10 million or something like that. And he's like, yeah, but I still want to put it in Bitcoin. What would you say is the optimal amount of money to have? Is it 4, 5, 6 million? After what point does it really start to like degrade?
Well, we have a client who is really good friends with a billionaire, and he was out having
some adult beverages,
drinks with this billionaire, and he said, "Hey, man, you've had so much success. You sold your company last year for like $900 million. What's rich? Like what? I mean, here you can have anything in the world, any sort of private jet, anything you want. What do you consider rich?" And he said, "Honestly, $10 million." Because once you have 10 million.
That's very interesting. I don't know if you guys remember. It was about maybe 2 years ago now. I want to say 2, maybe 3. Troy. No, it wasn't Troy. It was from EYL. It was Rashad. I believe it was Rashad. I think he was doing a piece on NBC or something like that, or CNBC. And if those you don't know, they're the gentleman from Earn Your Leisure, EYL. And they had actually were asked the same very question. At what point do you think is like you're good? And they said $10 million. I believe it was him, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it Ian? I'm not sure. Anyways, someone in that universe. And they said $10 million, and they got so much backlash. I mean, a lot of backlash. And at the time, I didn't understand it because I can understand what he was saying, and invested in the market over time. You can afford some ebbs and flows, and you would still be able to make out all right. But I mean, $10 million is a lot of money. 3 to 5 is a lot of money, and I feel like 3 to 5. Yeah, you can. I think once you get to 3 to 5, probably makes it a lot easier to get to those other numbers. But my point is, they're saying 10. Sounds like these guys are going to say 10. Common theme here, but I guess it all depends on your definition of comfortable. Not everyone needs the private jet or, whatever you think you need. I remember my mentor, he told me one thing to keep in mind when you start making money, getting into that stage of life, that the pillows only get so soft, meaning that a soft pillow is a soft pillow. It doesn't matter how much you make. If you can afford it, you're probably doing pretty good in life. If you have no debt, living well below your means, not at your means, but below your means. Maybe you have a paid off house. Maybe you own some rental property. Life's good, right? So I say that to say, like, to everyone, don't get discouraged out there if you hear these big numbers. Like, how can I ever get there? It's not about that. If you have a paid off house and you got $1 million, and that's amongst all your things, you're doing all right. A paid off house, $1 million in collectively is your net worth, and 0 debt. The world is yours. You can build on that. Paid off cars, kids' college fund, they could do whatever they want. I don't see what the issue is there, but again, let's just see what they have to what they have to offer in this conversation. I'm very curious. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, you guys. We're up to 220, trying to get to that 1,000.
$1 million in the bank, even if you're not very good at managing and you just make 5% on that, it's $500,000 a year you can make every year. And it's kind of hard to spend $500,000 a year if you're debt free.
Very true.
Right. So if you have $10 million, that's kind of the threshold. Now that's from the perspective of a billionaire. I think most folks, if you have a couple $1 million invested, a lot of people just don't have lifestyles that are that big. Right.
Yeah,
so
if
you have $4 million, $5 million, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be financially independent in most parts of this country at most lifestyles. Yep. Now, for your guy, I don't think it's as much about capital preservation, or maybe it's a flavor of that. It's more about diversification.
It's concentration risk.
What if Bitcoin doesn't work? What if something happens and there's some shift and all the hype doesn't pan out and you had all of your net worth tied up in that, not just a couple millions of dollars you already own, but the couple of million plus the 10 million. You've already won the game. Or if you haven't won the game, you've rounded third and you're coming close to home plate. Do you really need to start showboating between third and home? Or
great advice.
is the risk just not worth it? Why not diversify across real estate assets or income producing securities or a diversified portfolio, or just have money sitting in a high yield money, whatever that thing may be for you? Putting it all in Bitcoin is betting all of your wad on this one outcome that if it doesn't happen, why? Why take that risk?
Before I went out on my own, I worked at another firm, and we worked with a lot of Lucent technology executives. And a lot of people probably don't even remember what Lucent was, but Lucent was the high flyer of the 90s. I mean, if you go and look it up, it was a Fortune 500.
NVIDIA.
I mean, it was you couldn't lose with this investment. And I've unfortunately dealt with executives who have won the game, but because they were overly concentrated, they've watched that wealth turn to pretty much nothing. And that's what I would ask your friend is, have you thought about, because some of this is systemic risk you have for going back to poor. Why, if you won the game, is it a responsible thing to even leave that risk sitting out there? Is that at a minimum, carve off what you would need for a safe withdrawal rate to keep that diversified and safe, or even liquid. I mean, if you don't like traditional investments, that might even be something you want to consider just keeping liquid. That would be a better play, because I think he's not thinking about the emotional toll it would take to go from winning the game and having tremendous success and taking it down to zero. That would destroy you.
And that's a good point. And too often, I think people, especially when you start winning, you can trip over your own 2 feet. It's better to just slow down, take a beat. You often hear some people when they get to the millionaire status that they get scared and they tend to hoard and they just sit back for a little bit and wait. I actually think that is a safe, natural response. Full transparency, I'm not there yet. I hope to be there. I got plenty of runway in front of me, God willing, and trying to make all the right moves. And I'll let you know. But I think we just get too wrapped up in so many things and trying to diversify and sometimes it's better to just stay on the course. Like he said, you have bases loaded. Like, you don't need, and this is the case in every aspect of life. If you won, don't try to go for the grand slam. Just get on base. Just keep hitting the ones and twos. That's okay. Not everything is going to be a grand slam, and that's fine. If you can just get on base, and that's why I always tell people, with your first property, the first one is the hardest, and I'm living proof of that. I will tell you that it is the hardest one to do, because you're learning even me, with all my experience in property management, trying to get it off the ground. You don't have this big machine behind you with all the resources at your fingertips. Nope, you are the resources. So trying to get it off the ground, trying to put everything you have into it, make sure you're the one there, and it's hard. Once you build on that momentum, now I feel like I'm ready for the next one, and I already know what to look for. You get trained, and you know what I mean. So don't move so fast. Slow down, run your race, stay in your lane, and just take your time with it. And if you win, don't try to be, what's the saying? Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. Don't, just take it easy. Don't try to get a grand slam every single time, because this is not how it works. Let's look into a little bit of this, more of this, and maybe we'll get you guys out of here.
Kevin O'Leary said on the Diary of a CEO podcast that he keeps $5 million in cash
At all times.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's the craziest thing.
and that's
lot of
it.
money.
And he
That
says
makes
he
tons
doesn't
of
touch
sense.
it, but that mentally for him, no, that no matter what happens,
If
I got
everything
this
went to
cash.
pot, that's my, and I
And
think,
always, yeah.
and even if you're not a billionaire, I think a lot of us can. It's why we tell even retirees who are in financial independence and they're living off of their assets. If you can just keep 18 to 24 months of your living expense in liquid cash, what you've done is you've given yourself a 24-month runway that no matter what the economy throws, no matter if there's a global pandemic, a real estate crash, tariffs, stuff in the Eurozone, whatever that is, you've given yourself enough time that you can give your portfolio time to recover. You can weather that storm if you have that cash there. It's the same sort of idea, just on a smaller scale. So again, I think throwing it all in Bitcoin is just, that's insane.
I think at
Unnecessary
Kevin's
risk.
level, that's probably just a nice safety net for him for
Yeah.
peace of mind. But I will tell, and I cover this in Millionaire Mission too, is that I think cash, excess cash. Now, don't mishear me. For anybody who's just starting your journey, just get the steps 1 and 4, which is basically an emergency reserves, and that once you get in the Roth and everything else. But I think once you reach a certain level of success, right around step 8, there's nothing wrong with having extra cash, because cash can be a tremendous wealth builder too. Because if you keep some excess cash, what happens when everybody else is out of cash? Think about every time we've had a collapse or a market downturn, because people cut it so thin. I mean, most people are not walking around with the right type of emergency reserves. They're not, protecting their levered assets right. So as soon as the oxygen leaves the room, meaning cash, people all of a sudden, that's when the deals are out there. How did we get this building that we're filming this in? Was right after the pandemic. The owner was second guessing because he'd gotten
Didn't
an
know
offer
if-
the
yeah.
previous year, and he was like, "Man, I should have sold it." And we were able to come in, and now it looks like the deal of a lifetime. But it's because there was enough fear in the marketplace that cash, if we didn't have it, we wouldn't have been able to do the deal. And that's what a lot of people will look at success and think it was luck. But I'm telling you, it really is that intersection of opportunity and preparation. And sometimes cash, you can buy assets that you never thought possible because nobody else has cash.
Do you think we're going to have another instance like that in the near future? Because a lot of people are talking now that we're in a debt bubble. The only reason the market's going up is because interest rates have been going down. We've been printing a ton of money. How long could this be sustainable for?
I'm willing to say I don't know, but I'm willing to say it's happened enough in my lifetime that yes, it will happen again. Because I also, like I detailed already earlier, I have a buddy. We bought Apple in the Great Recession, only a few $1,000 that in his portfolio, he never sold it. It's worth close to $500,000 now.
Wow.
And so we always see when markets get detached from value, there's tremendous opportunity to make money.
Yeah, I agree with that. And one of my mentors always told me, when everyone's swimming one direction, look the other direction, because that's where you're going to find a deal. They're not seeing what everyone else is seeing, and the masses are usually like delayed or off. So don't follow the masses. And yeah, I agree with that. It's always good to keep some cash, and cash is just a security, right? Money buys security. That's what Susie Orman always says. And yeah, you got to figure out how much you need to feel secure and to make life sustainable for you guys or for your household, and go from there. Yeah, I'm gonna leave a link in the description on this video. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and share. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.